Hello, brothers and sisters. The holy festivals are coming up. Looking so forward to those. Very excited about the feast coming up, starting with the Feast of Trumpets at the end of September and ending with the Feast of Tabernacles by mid October. For more information or gathering, please email me about that. When I came out of a religion and into a relationship, I learned about these holy days that churches don't really honor. They prefer to do the pagan holidays. But what I love about the holy days is that it's all centered around Yeshua HaMashiach. No Easter bunnies, no Santa Claus included. It's all about Father. And I decided in 2019 that I'm no longer going to be a part of something that does not glorify my Father. And I don't particularly like sharing my Father. He doesn't deserve that. He deserves all of our attention and praise and worship that we can give him and should want to give him. But during the holy festivals, if you've been honoring them annually like myself, it does mean you're going to have to take off of work. Praying and worshiping and honoring Christ is free, but it does come with a sacrifice or price. Even without the holy days, if you just want to pray to God, intrusive thoughts come up, other distractions will occur or arise to stop you. And you have to fight more or less to get that time in to even pray. At a job I worked at for many years, I became so hated by my coworkers towards the end because I chose to not work on the Sabbath day. And it was fine at first. But years later, the company decided every day of the week now is going to be a work week. But I kept still that one day holy and never came to work. And because of the holy days that I just mentioned, I was not coming in also on those days. Uh, no negotiations around it. And you got to understand that the Sabbath is a once a day a week thing. And the holy days like Passover, Pentecost, the Feast of Tabernacles, the Feast of Trumpets, the Day of Atonement, these are a handful, more or less handful of days throughout the whole year that I take off of work in honor, depending on if they fall on the weekday. Some fall on the weekend where there's no uh, there's no worry about having to take off. But it's not like every week or every month I was taking off consistently. Sabbath was consistent, but I was taking off for those days because that is what I am to do unto my Father, and I choose to do. And I believe it convicted my coworkers, even my boss, or equally so my boss, because for years throughout their time working, they compromised in order to make that money, or because they were possibly threatened with losing their job, so they chose the job. But year after year, I was making the choice or choices to not come into work, regardless if I was told to come to work, regardless if I was threatened to get rolled up, regardless if I was threatened to get fired, with a mindset of if I lose this job, I lose this job, because my obedience was and still is greater for God than the reality of losing money or being fired. I was choosing God than the job or over the job. And Father made it known to me to keep doing what He wants me to do because I knew He was the one who blessed me with the job in the first place. He opened that door for me, and He would be the one to say when my time would be up there. So I kept doing my obedience unto my Father. And after Father for so long allowed me to still remain in a position where many around me thought I should be fired already, and just hated the fact that I was pretty much getting away with something they feared they wouldn't in the past, and chose to not do it out of their own fear of getting fired or whatever. I became so hated. But further down the line, God put it in my spirit that my longevity there was coming to an end with the job. I felt in my spirit that this chapter was about to end. And I didn't know how that would play out. I just felt my time there was now short. And it ended up happening in a way that work went very dry. Uh, and there was opportunities for my boss to give me work, but out of spite, he did not for a very long while. And when I came to him and did the paperwork process of resigning, he begged me to reconsider. He bragged about work coming up, how much I would get some to make money, and a lot of it. He didn't want me to go. And I was one of the best at what I did. And I think it was he never thought I would leave. He never thought I would go because it's great money after all. But he expressed how much he still needed me, and I left graciously, never making the unfairness and meanness the reason for my leaving. As far as they knew, I with grace kept that for each one as I said goodbye, and it was just time for me to go. And at that time, I had just got a new job. Father had opened up a door for another job. They gave me the position to be more comfortable and accepted as who I am in Christ. And I know my boss regrets what he did that led me to go in his brain, perhaps, but because many not good things happened afterward when I was no longer going to be called again. But, God had already impressed upon me that it was time to go. My time was going to be up soon. And now I have a new job, and uh, I have a newer job now where I do the same thing. But, best believe this walk is about sacrifice. Your faith will help you succeed when it comes to having to sacrifice. And always at the end of it, sooner or later, you're going to see how it was all worth it. Father is going to show you that. You won't see it like that before or even during, but you will after. And then your faith will be even more solid, just like the last time you went through a moment and saw that it was worth it. Sacrifice is also testing. Yes, I lost money. I could have been fired on the spot, but Father really watched over me. And Father really observes our love, our dedication, our commitment to Him in our hearts than things or anything or anybody over in this world that we could could uphold. Moreover, he notices the hearts of those who choose him, even if it means we lose something in this world, or someone or something is taken away from us in this world. He observes our heart and how we put him first and foremost with all dedication in our hearts for him. Our Father is the Father of restoration. Read Job for that. And in your walk, believe with faith that whatever the enemy working in people that will try to get them to make you do to bend to their will over God's, if you stand the test, trusting that Father out of your obedience has you and will cover you, guess what, grasshopper? You're growing up, and your testimony will give witness, and you will be blessed on the other side of it, of how you come out. So my advice is always choose God, no matter if you stand to lose, because what man can take away, God can give you more in abundance. But you got to choose him. You got to pass that test with faith. Use your faith and ask God to give it to you more abundantly. But know that God is always going to test it, and that's how you're going to be blessed to have it more solid and abundantly. Thank God, because he builds up rise or dies, not weak quitters when it comes to his children.